Hello guys and welcome back to one more video in the channel. So game week 10 on the Premier League. Champions League just ended and we already have the Premier League here. What an awesome time to live, let's say. So for those who don't know how it works, we're gonna analyze the games, the Premier League games here, and we're gonna do three metrics here. This is called the chronometer. Right below the fixture, you have a chronometer that you can judge the favoritism, you can judge the probability of a team winning, losing, or even a draw. More close to the middle is a draw, more to the left is a home victory, and more to the right is a away victory. We're gonna also predict the result, who is gonna win, or if it's gonna be a draw, and the score. So let's start by Crystal Palace and Spurs in this Friday. Very good game. Spurs are top of the league. Crystal Palace is a very decent, very good team. For this game, I don't think Crystal Palace has much of a threat here to Spurs. Uh, I'm very confident with Spurs, to be honest. Very confident. They are looking awesome here. No injuries or anything. They're just amazing. Let's see how they're gonna go. If they're gonna go with Bissouma or if they're gonna start with Højbjerg, because Højbjerg last game did an amazing performance. So you gotta give props to that. But I think Bissouma is gonna be still in the first 11. I'm gonna predict it to go to Spurs, so it's an away victory. And I think the score here, I'm going for a clean sheet to Spurs here. I think a 3-0 here to Spurs is decent. Last game, Anja Postecoglou wasn't very happy with the ending of the game. Like Spurs were a little bit messy by the end of the game, and maybe he's gonna try to fix something here. Maybe he's gonna try to prove something in this game here. Maybe try to be more dominant and try to be more active and score even more goals. So I'm going with 3-0 here. Chelsea and Brentford is the second game of the weekend. Chelsea has been playing very good football, you know. They've done amazing against Arsenal. And Brentford, on the other hand, they've just got it through the line. Not through the line, they've got a very consistent win, 3-0 last game week. And I think they're gonna try to do something here. They've played really bad before this last game. They were struggling a little bit, mainly at home. Away, they're not like that. This is gonna be an interesting clash of tactics here, because Chelsea is being dominant with the ball. So possession-wise, Chelsea is gonna have the ball, but Brentford lost that. Brentford is a counter-attacking team, so we have to see how Chelsea is gonna deal with that. If they're gonna constrict the center backs to defend against a counter attack, or if the counter attack's gonna own Chelsea here. It's gonna be an interesting clash of tactics here. Chelsea are gonna have the possession of the ball. They're gonna try to score a lot of goals, and Brentford, on the other hand, are going for the counter attacks here. So I consider it to be a Chelsea advantage here. They're playing at home, you got that? And I think it's gonna be a 2-1 victory here to Chelsea. I think Brentford is gonna be able to score one goal by a counter attack, but I think Arsenal is gonna be dominant through all the game, so I don't think they're gonna lose this one, although they might struggle here. Arsenal and Sheffield United. Bro, Arsenal are very good in the season, don't get me wrong, but they got a loose foot here, I would call it. They are not as dominant as they were last season. They are struggling a little bit, and I like to think this game against Sheffield, they're gonna have to prove a strong victory here, you know? They're gonna go strong. I don't see them not going strong here. I'm going for a 3-0 victory here for Arsenal. I think that's decent. It's against Sheffield. It's a very defensive team, I know. And I'm going for a 2-0. So, yeah, Sheffield is very good at defending. Taking away the Newcastle game, they've defended very good against every other team. They are a little annoying to deal with, but they're not very good offensive wise. So yeah, I think Arsenal won't have problems with this match here. I hope not. Bournemouth and Burnley. Bournemouth, they're needing a victory here. Burnley too. It's a relegation battle here. Bournemouth lost last game to Wolves by a comeback. It's a little bit of a weird spot here to Bournemouth. Burnley, on the other hand, I think they're playing better football than Bournemouth. Bournemouth are playing at home. You got that? But I think this is gonna be a close game here. I'm gonna give the edge here to Burnley. I think they're gonna have an advantage here. They're trying to go for the victory here. But I don't see this different from a draw here. They're gonna try to get the victory here. It's an important game for both. But I think it won't be done, you know. I don't think they'll get across the line here. And I think that's it, to be honest. I can't see many things to discuss about this game here. I'm seeing a new draw here. Very boring game and stuff like that. But I think they're both trying to go for the victory here. But I think none of them are gonna get 3 points here. They're gonna be very defensive, trying to score one goal and hold the game as long as they can. That's what I see here. On the other hand, we have Wolves and Newcastle. I think this is gonna be a very interesting game. We have to see how Newcastle is gonna deal with the amount of games they've been had. They've played a poor game against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. They are clearly suffering with the amount of games this season, okay? They are not used to that, so they are suffering here. And we also have to see how the Tonali news are coming, because he's getting suspended. How will Newcastle deal with those news? I see Newcastle technically and thoughtfully superior, but maybe they are tired here. Maybe they're a little bit exhausted, and maybe they're a little upset about the news. It could go either way here, I consider it. Newcastle is that playing away from home. They've come from a loss, a significant loss to Borussia Dortmund. They must be tired. The news are not good. I'm giving them an edge here, but I don't think they're gonna win this, to be honest. Wolves is been playing amazing football last game week. I told you that Wolves has been surprised me this week, at least since Manchester City victory. So I think at home they're gonna do something messy here, you know. Although it's Newcastle, they have problems too. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a draw here, a very decent draw. I think about a 1-1 draw here. What do you think? I think a 1-1 draw here is decent. Let's go for the next one. West Ham and Everton. West Ham, which in my opinion has been one of the best teams in the Premier League. They've had very hard fixtures. I think they've had the hardest fixtures in the whole Premier League, I think. And they are nothing to sleep on, you know. They are very good against an Everton that is not very confident. I'm going with a very considerable win for them. I'm going for a 3-1 here. And Everton is going to struggle here. They're fighting for the relegation. They are in the relegation battle. So I think this is going to be like this. Okay. Aston Villa and Luton Town. This is going to be on Sunday, right? So there has nothing to do with anything. So Aston Villa and Luton Town. I think Aston Villa is going to try here. Simply, they are playing awesome football all around. I'm going to give a huge advantage to them here. They're at home and stuff like that. Luton Town is not a Premier League team in my opinion. Maybe they're proving me wrong here. They've done some very good, not very good, but some decent performances. Last game against Nottingham Forest, they got a draw away. So you gotta take those. But I don't think they have any possibility of getting any points here against Aston Villa. Aston Villa looks massive. And I think this is gonna be a very considerable victory here. I'm going for a 4-0 here. Aston Villa is scoring a lot of goals, so I think that's it. Brighton and Fulham. I think this game... When will this game happen? It's a Sunday too. Yep. Brighton and Fulham. I see Brighton as a favorite, obviously, but they have problems here with the amount of games. They are clearly not used to it. They're having a lot of games, Europa League, and so they're struggling a little bit here with the amount of games. They've got a little bit of pressure, I can see. Last games weren't great. It were against hard teams, you have to give that. But I go for a close victory for them. I'm not very confident with Brighton at the moment. I think they were better at the beginning, but now that the season has moved on a little bit, you can clearly see a little bit of exhaustion in them. So, considering all that, I still see a victory here, but I think it's gonna be a close victory. I'm gonna go with 2-1 to Brighton here. They look very exhausted, very tired. I can't see anything different from that. Okay. Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. Very interesting game here. I think this is gonna be a very good win for Liverpool. They've done it massively. They won't have Robertson. I don't think that's a big deal. Salah is playing amazing football. They are against a Nottingham Forest that is very... it's not a weak team, it's a okay team, but they're struggling right now, so you have that. I think this is gonna be a very reasonable victory here for Liverpool, trying to keep in the top of the table there. I think this is gonna be a 3-0 victory to Liverpool. Very consistent victory here for Liverpool. And the last game, but not least, absolutely not least, we have the Manchester derby here. Manchester United and Manchester City. You see Manchester United's games, you don't see any consistency, anything that prove themselves. They got through the line against Sheffield 2-1 victory. They got the victory 1-0 against Copenhagen, and it was very, very, very much hard. They got a Maguire goal, they got a Onana save, penalty save, but they're not confident, you know. I don't feel confident with Manchester United. It can be a turning point into them, but I don't think this turning point is gonna happen against Manchester City here, you know. Although I said last video that there is something off, and I feel that there is something off with Manchester City, I think... you know what? I'm gonna give an advantage here to Manchester City. But as it is a derby, Manchester City looks off, a little bit off. You've already heard it from me. And Manchester United may be in a turning point. I believe a draw here is possible, okay? I would like to see a 1-1 draw here. It's very good for my team, a draw to Manchester City. And I don't really think... Manchester United can win this. Manchester City can absolutely easily win this. But maybe they won't, you know. They are off. I'll repeat it every time this season. Until they get to their most likely status of just destroying every team. Until then, I'm gonna keep on saying that there is something off with Manchester City, you know. And I won't have very much confidence in that team. Manchester City won just 2-1 against Brighton. If it were other seasons, they could have done it even more. But I go with a draw here, okay? I think it's a possibility. So, Spurs victory, Chelsea victory, Arsenal, a draw between Bournemouth and Burnley, a draw between Wolves and Newcastle, West Ham winning against Everton, I think it's a very considerable victory, Aston Villa and Luton Town, Brighton getting over the line, Liverpool winning a very considerable victory against Nottingham Forest, and a draw in the Manchester derby. Although Manchester City is better than Manchester United at the point, I see a little bit of openness here. It's an open game, you know. I think Manchester United are gonna go to try to take some points here, you know. I'm confident with that. So that are my predictions. What do you think? And thank you for watching. See you next time, guys.